You're listening to Hotepish with your host, Dwan B. Intelligent ish talk, intelligent shit talk, where we balance the profound with the profane. Political satire, celebrity and expert guests, information and entertainment, conversation and solutions. Leave your feelings at the door.
What up, y'all? We are here live. Hotepish. Intelligent-ish talk. Intelligent shit talk. We keep it intelligent, but we talk that shit. I never let people say, oh, no, you clown too much. Oh, why is everything a joke? Because life is funny, that's why. You can't take this shit that serious, man. Be whatever solution you seek when you can be that solution, and all times in between times have fun. Remember the love in your life. Remember all that's good in life. Stand outside. Like before I came on, I was outside in the sunshine. I know some of y'all live in parts of the country where the sun don't shine that much, and I don't know what to tell you. I'd get depressed living somewhere that's gloomy all day. Because LA be sunny. I get out in the morning and I get up in that sun. Can't no damn racism block that sun from stopping you from shining off the top of your head, feeding that melanin. Take your shoes and socks off. Stand in the grass. Get in that grass. Ground in that motherfucker. We talk racism and solutions, but shit, don't let this shit be the end all be all of your life. Don't let this shit control your life. You deal with it when you can deal with it. And have fun in between. Take the stick out your ass. You dig? What up, chat room? Glenn Stevens in the house. Landmark 22. Bill Gates, fuck Bill Gates. He could do what he could try to do whatever the hell he want to do. Bill Gates can't stop God. He can try whatever little bullshit tactic he want. Can't stop God. God is the sun. Plant life. Oxygen. Them crackers can throw whatever the fuck they want out there. So, they ain't ever stopped a damn thing. Can't let them dominate our minds. That's one of the first steps in confronting anti-black racism, the topic of today. I appreciate that, Sean G. Enjoying the Incense and Ashtrays content. Yeah, go ahead and check out. I got a couple shows up. I got to do some more stuff with Incense and Ashtrays. I've just been putting together my webinar. This has been a lot of work getting my website up and my webinar. And finishing my book, doing this all at the same time. Like every time I thought I was finishing my book, I would add something new. But it's done. My e-reader is done. The editor should have it back to me today or tomorrow. And the people who are in my class, No Time to Waste, the webinar is coming up this Sunday. This Sunday. The webinar is coming up for No Time to Waste. My self-motivation guidebook, how to get off your ass today. Be the GOAT. You can only be the GOAT, the greatest of all time, if you get off your ass today. That's what this book is helping you with. My webinar is coming up Sunday. The link tree is in the bio. If you get the webinar, the book comes free along with the webinar, where we're going to break down how to self-motivate yourself and how to find the gifts from within. Because confronting anti-Black racism means you have to be strong yourself from within. And the way to be strong from within is by doing the things you know and love. People be thinking work is hard. Like, oh, I got to find this great idea that's going to make me a millionaire. Well, no, you ain't got to find nothing. What you need is already inside, and you probably been ignoring it. And you probably know what it is. And and for those of you who, when you real with yourself and you know what it is, you've been running from it, saying I'm scared, or I don't think I'm this, I don't think I'm that. But you go to a job that you really don't fuck with. You got to flip that. Stop running and turn into yourself. Water the flowers that you have within. Water those flowers. Let them grow. And when what you have inside of you grows out, ain't a damn thing racism can do to stop your black ass. Racism cannot stop a motivated, melanated individual. Let me say that one more time. Racism, anti-Black racism, whether it comes from white people, LGBTQ, Asians, Latinos, or most oftentimes other Black people, they can't stop shit that you push out from within. Always remember that. Because on one hand, you have people who see racism as some big ass hurdle and it's everything that gets in their way. And on the other end, you got Negroes that say racism don't exist. Both sides are lying to themselves. Yes, racism exists. But unmotivated people use that as an excuse to not push forward and move on. Yes, racism does exist, but the person who ignores it is lying to themselves, and they kill themselves daily to assimilate to the system. Raising a voice. Hi, Harold. Man, we got to play golf. You know, the last time you got me. Oh, have a good time. Yeah, I'll see you later. Them niggas. And then you got the other ones that be like, yes, my brother, racism. These white folks be doing it, man. You got Bill Gates putting contaminating the seeds in Monsanto, and you got Donald Trump and then Joe Biden. Man, the black person ain't gonna never win. We may as well move back to Africa. We may as well, man, leave this here. Nigga, stop. Stop. Racism ends where you stand. If you can't stop and overcome racism where you stand, there is nowhere to run to make it any better. Now, you may be able to move certain places within the world or within the country to where you have less day-to-day confrontation with racism. That may happen. That can happen. But as far as racism as a whole, the more you run, the more it comes from you. Go ahead and go to Africa if you want. And watch these motherfuckers poison the water there at some point. If that area you moved to got a little bit too successful. Ask Libya. Libya citizens had a right to housing, that clean water project. There's revenue sharing with the oil profits. Every citizen made at least $50,000 a year just from oil profits. They had a free house, clean water, built a damn farm in the desert. And then the United States said, you know what? Them motherfuckers is getting too successful. Let's call this nigga Gaddafi a terrorist and end all that. So yeah, you can run, but you can't hide. Grow some nuts, stand where you are, and deal with it. Because like I said before, when black people fight, we win. Our biggest issue is we stop fighting. We get a half an inch of progress and think party time. I live by SpaceX here in LA. As successful as SpaceX is, guess what they have? Legions of security guards. I live by, when you go to anytime you see security guards, that's a military to protect the interest of what they've acquired. See, what black folks oftentimes don't understand is white folks and racism, white folks been operating this way long before they met us. When they were in Europe, if they crop didn't come in, that's why they're so deceptive. They had to come to you if your crops grew and steal your shit if theirs didn't grow in. That's if you just understand European history. It's a history of war. They had 2 different 100 years war periods between the Franks and the Saxons. That's the French and the British, or Germanics. You have the Visigoths, the Vandals. The term vandalism is literally named after a European tribe, the Vandals. Black folks build some shit and be like, hey, everybody, look what I built. Look what I built. Pat me on the back. No, you build your shit, then you protect it. That's key to confronting anti-black racism. Build it. Building is just the first step. After that, you have to do everything in your power to protect. Generally, black people build things and don't protect it. Anytime you're around these motherfuckers, if you build something, you better goddamn well protect it. And because we don't adequately protect a lot of our stuff, we'll then say, hey, it's bad. Racism is too big. Well, sometimes if we just put up a little bit of a defense, which is something that we're starting to do. And later on in this broadcast, I'm going to get into how this generation is changing a lot. I'm speaking right now from the context of what we've done in the past traditionally. I do see some changes within black society that's very encouraging. And we will get to that. What's up, Butter Love? What's up, Lamone? What's up, Mickey Knox? Dr. Sinister, Old Head Deuce? Chuck? Yeah. If Ricard said I always go live before bedtime. My bad. What's up, Think Tank? What's up, 3J? What's up, all y'all? Thank y'all. Somebody says can't protect anything in a foreign land. Question. Is the United States not also foreign to the European? question. Why is it Firestone seems to be able to protect all that rubber in Liberia and North Africa in spite of the dozens and dozens of wars and conflicts they've had over there? The United States and Europe seems to be able to protect its gold mines, its diamond mines, its oil, whatever natural resources it's taking from around the world. They seem to be able to protect those resources on foreign land. So that right there dispels any rumor you can't protect your stuff on foreign land. They're outnumbered, and Europeans are outnumbered and out-organized in Venezuela, but they still get that oil. Lack of code and lack of motivation seems to be our issue. See, it's so easy to throw out, reason why things can't be done. And good point, Buck Shelton. This isn't a foreign land. Most black people here have been here. Read Dr. Clyde Winters for more information on that. Read Dr. James Imhotep for more information on that. Read Dr. Ivan Van Sertima for more information on that. Hell, you can read a book called Southern Seed, Northern Soil that was written by my family about our lineage here in the United States outside of slavery back in the 1700s, and how our lineage dates back before that, before slavery. My own family wrote a book on that. So that proves we're here. Read the original definition of an American, 1828, Webster's Dictionary. You can Google this. American, bronze-skinned individual Europeans confronted when first settled in America. Look up who the Algonquin were, the Folsom, the Mojave, the Ohlone. So no, I don't want to hear the excuse, you can't protect what you built on a foreign land. I don't want to hear that. Don't want to hear that. Thank you, Chuck. Another thing when it comes to confronting anti-black racism, one of the biggest ways to confront anti-black racism is to confront the white supremacists in our own minds. Every black person has a white. If you've gone to elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and the further you go in school, the more white supremacists you have in your mind. Like I've said before, all the liberal arts degree teaches you is how to think like a white woman. I know because I have a liberal arts degree. John Henry Clark said that, and my college experience bore that out to be true. So if you have a PhD, you think more like a white supremacist than someone with a high school diploma, because you've been in their system and being indoctrinated by their point of view that long. If you watch American TV, black people have white supremacists in their mind by the age of 5. Just look up the doll test. Which doll does the black child prefer? Because Disney taught them to be a white supremacist. Warner Brothers taught them to be a white supremacist. Nickelodeon taught them to be a white supremacist. So anytime you have the mindset of what a black person can't do, that might be the inner white supremacist within your own mind speaking. And I'm not saying this to judge anybody, but I am saying that we have to tell the truth about where we are, because through telling the truth about where we are, we can then game plan and move forward on where we need to go. You dig? I don't believe in lying to us, lying to myself. Why did I do that? Why would I do that? We all have a little white supremacist in our mind. They did an update on the dog test, same results. Yeah, popping it right. It's important to challenge your own beliefs. It's very important you challenge your own beliefs. That's how I've gotten to where I am right now. I ain't always thought this way. Oh, salute to David Bell for the Cash App. Thank you for the Cash App donations. I got to where I am right now by continually confronting myself. I was not always like this. I was a cat that grew up in the hood and was like, man, all I see is black folks killing black folks. That's what I was saying when I was 17. Even though I had a pro-black mindset, I would still make these little coon comments. Even though I liked who we are overall, I remember when I was younger in my 20s, especially my 20s. I told y'all before about when I worked in nightclubs. That was on my last broadcast. Go back and listen to that. How working in the night, through my perspective, seeing groups of people drunk and inebriated, which means they're acting their natural selves. I remember being in college, listening to my white liberal arts teachers and their perspective, thinking that these lesbians had a point. Oh, misogyny is just as they wouldn't go so far as to say misogyny was bad as racism in class when I was there. They would just see my big black ass and just look at me and know not to go there, because I would never let it go that far. But I would sit back and listen to what the feminists were saying. I took marriage and family relationships courses, I took them classes where they were talking about how, even black men benefit from patriarchy. And I'm like, even though I never experienced the benefit as a black man of patriarchy, I was still buying what they were selling. I wasn't where I am right now. It took me questioning that. I used to be a major Christian, and that's another one. Confronting the anti-black racism also starts if you were raised in church. Oh my God. Can we talk about those? Hit the number 1 in the chat room. And we gonna get to what to Tariq and that whole thing. We gonna get to that. I saw somebody in the comments say that. We gonna get to Tariq. We gonna get to a few other things I want to talk about. Y'all know I'll be here for like 2 hours and shit. I be thanking y'all for staying that long. Damn, I'll be like, damn, these niggas still be listening. I appreciate that, because I like to create the whole story, and come back around. But let's talk about church real quick. If you went to church, press 1. See, I started going to church from day 1. We used to have Saturday night Bible study at my Aunt Sarah's house. We used to, then I started going to this church called First Church of God when I was like 2 or 3 on Crenshaw. Was it Crenshaw 83rd? Crenshaw and Arborvitae? They're not Arborvitae. I think it was like Crenshaw 83rd. First Church of God. We went there, and then I went to this other church for like damn near the rest of my life called Zoe. It was on Adams, in between La Brea and La Cienega. They done knocked that shit down now. It's an apartment building. But I was in church Sunday and Wednesday. Every week. Every week I was in church Sunday and Wednesday. Wednesday night Bible study. And this started in 1987. I was 6 years old. Every Sunday, every Wednesday in church. And then around like 1996, 95, 96, I started playing the drums for that same church. So now I'm in high school. This was my high school schedule because I played the drums in church. That means I was there every Sunday, 2 services, once a month on Sunday night, every Wednesday, every Tuesday for praise and worship rehearsal, and then twice a month on Thursday for choir rehearsal. So I'd be in the church some weeks 5 days a week. When I was in high school, my schedule was go to school, go to either, sometimes I played football, sometimes I played like 2 years I played basketball, 1 year I was in band, and 1 year I played football. So go to basketball practice, then on Tuesday, go to church for rehearsal. On Wednesday, go to church for Bible study. And then we still play music at other churches every now and again. So I'd be in church at somebody else's church revival on a Friday randomly or a Saturday. So I was in church all the time. My church, cool thing about my church was there were no pictures of white Jesus in our church. I will give them credit for that. There were no pictures. There was like nothing with Jesus on a cross. There were no images of Jesus on a cross dead. And there were no images of white Jesus nowhere in my church growing up. So that helped a little bit. But basically all the church taught you was back down. Jesus is going to make it better. You don't have to fight your fights. We fight these things in a heavenly realm. Church teaches you how to be docile if you black. It teaches you not to stand up to these race soldiers disguised as cops in your neighborhood to pray about it. See, even when you don't have the image of white Jesus up, you still taught how to think and operate in a docile manner. I was in all that shit. By the time I got to high school, out of high school, I saw what it was. Then from like the age of 18 till about 30, church became as much about making money on the drums as anything else. I wanted to believe that shit. Like I used to really believe in church. I wanted to believe the shit, but it was something in me that was like, nah. This ain't it. And so I started to go through that questioning process, like what Poppin said earlier. Really questioning what I think, what I believe, what I know. Because it was tough for me to see through it because my mom was always the type. She didn't go to church, and we didn't have like a whole bunch of church people over our house. My mom was the type, go to church, live it. Don't preach it, live it. And my mom truly lived it. To this day. My mom, if you want, my mom is the ultimate giver. She's always giving, she's always showing compassion, showing love, doing the good tenets the church say. Not running around pointing her finger saying what people need to do. You know what I mean? So I wasn't raised in any kind of hypocritical environment. So I didn't have any reason not to believe. Like I thank God my mom didn't have pastor coming over getting chicken and shit. We didn't have no church people over our house. Me, my mom, my dad, my sister, we used to just kick it, have fun. We didn't even talk about church throughout the week. My mom would talk about church in the context of, you know, living it. Really, truly living it. And to this day, that's why I don't have any issues with certain people in church. There are some out there who truly choose to live it. And they kind of just ignore and don't really deal with the rest of the bullshit. They see the bullshit, like my mom sees the bullshit, but she be like, hey, that's their walk with God. Mine is different. So I truly got respect for that type. And I know a few other people who live their Christian life that way. So for me to question it was very difficult. It wasn't easy for me. Some people saw it early. Some people saw the bullshit right away. I didn't. I didn't start seeing the bullshit until I started playing the drums for the church and I started seeing things behind the scenes going on. I was like, oh, that's what these people been talking about. That was never my experience. In my household, somebody tell us a secret, that secret stay with us. We didn't do gossiping. I couldn't come to my mom or my dad with what somebody else said. That shit didn't fly in my house. So I didn't understand none of the shit people would say about church. And so when I went through that whole questioning process, inevitably I ran up against, what racism truly is and how racism operates within the church. Thank God for Dr. Fred Price. He had a whole series on that for about a year where he was talking about racism in the church. And that shit really opened my eyes. And through questioning the things that I held true and dear, I was able to get to the truth. Confronting anti-black racism always starts with yourself. Like my wife, she didn't go to church at all. She has absolutely zero church brainwashing in her mind. She was raised in a beautiful neighborhood, all black Ladera Heights, with nothing but successful black people. Went to a really dope school for elementary school where they would tell the teachers like, no, Black History Month, they would learn more than Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. They would really get into it. So my wife was raised in an ideal black environment. Nothing but success, no church, good schools. Still, we went to the same middle school and high school. But we have stories about high school. We didn't see ourselves dealing with racism from what we saw. Westchester High School was 96% black. But then when you really dug into how things operated, even there on a subconscious level, we were dealing with racism every single day. And not knowing it. And because you don't know you're dealing with it, you accept it as normal. We accept anti-black ideologies and anti-black thinking as normal because it's presented to us every single day of our lives. So it's different levels of this shit. It's different levels to this shit. Looking back, and questioning the things that you hold true and dear, that's necessary for the mental cleansing process. Because let me tell you something, if what you believe is worth believing, it should stand to questioning. And that was the thought that I had when I went into questioning my stance in church. 2 + 2 is 4. You can question that all day, but it's going to end up being 4. Fire is hot. You can have a gajillion questions. Fire is still going to be hot. Ice is still going to be cold. If what you believe is worth believing, it should stand to question. Going through that mental cleansing process, damn, I used to be a person that voted. Like, I still vote, but I used to be a votep. Did you vote? Hell, you might be able to find some clips from me online circulating somewhere when I used to do this talk show at the J Spot with J. Anthony Brown. It was like a political talk. It was like the NAACP, me, and like J. Anthony Brown and some other people. And I didn't feel the way they felt about voting, but it was very VOTEP, left-leaning, Democrat, pro type show, to where it was like everything that was said would go back to voting. And I remember during that show, I remember saying something in that show where I was leading people back to vote. And in my soul, it was like, no, that ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. This is back when Obama was still in office. And I remember on air saying something about going back to voting. And in my gut, it was just like, nah, nigga, that ain't the move. That ain't the move. It took a little bit for me because I will always say that shit. But I was already going through this self-cleansing, ridding my mind of the inner white supremacists at this time. My stance on voting doesn't come from someone who's always been anti-voting. It comes from someone who did that, been there, done that. Now I'm questioning, okay, I've done these things for so many years. What has been the collective result? But whether it be Bush, Clinton, Obama, whoever it is, I've been making this cliche for a long time. What has it really paid off? I had to ask myself that shit. See, I ain't one of these niggas that go around acting like I always knew it all. One of the biggest issues within the black conscious community, quote unquote, or black people who know a little bit of something in this topic we're talking about here, confronting anti-black racism. We're starting off with ourselves, confronting the anti-black racism within our minds. And then we'll get to everyone else. Because I got major heat for everyone else too. But I always like to start and end with us, where we can get better. You get the black people who read a couple John Henry Clark books, saw a couple DVDs, and now they better than the black people who don't know any better. That's anti-black racism. How do you not approach your brother who knows less, who's reaching out to you to learn more, with kindness, love, and compassion? How do you not do that? Someone comes to you and they knew and they talking about how they used to vote, and then you come in, man, since I ain't been on this shit since I was 5, and blah, 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 and I don't know how black people need to get smarter, man. Shit, we ain't going nowhere, man. Black people just stupid. How does that help the black person that's waking up? Now, I'm not here to say we need to bring along everybody, because I'm a firm believer in, nigga, if you trying to pull me down, you got to go. Matter of fact, when I kick you, if you're the kind of black person that's trying to pull me down and I'm trying to pull you up, not only am I going to kick you off me, I'm probably going to piss on you when I'm done kicking you off me. I don't mind being ruthless. So I'm not talking about speaking to the person that is trying to pull you down. I'm talking about it's other people, and I say this on the show a lot. There are other people who genuinely want to know. After you spent running your credentials about how long you've known this and how long you've known that, you've just turned their ear off from whatever it is you may have had to say. Because now you're making them feel stupid for not knowing. The last thing you want to do to somebody who's opening up is make them feel stupid. Because once you make someone feel stupid, it automatically puts up a defense. And when people are defensive, they can't learn. You can't learn anything from a defensive standpoint. What do you do when you're playing defense? You block. You have a shield. If you're blocking, does that mean whatever the other person's throwing, can they receive it if their hands are up to block? They can only receive what you have to say if you approach what you have to say with kindness, love, and compassion. It don't matter how long you've known something. It don't matter how much more you know than someone else. Yeah, you may know a lot about racism, hell, but they may know a lot about nigga fixing cars and your car broke down. That'd be the thing with people who know a little bit of information. Look, nigga, if you know information, that means you know a lot about a small amount of things. I always say before, I always said this: if you have a college degree, you have less than 0.002% of information. I forgot the math, but it takes like 10 or 12 degrees to equal 1 degree of information. If information is 360 degrees and your 10 different college degrees equals 1% of all there is to know, that means you still don't know shit. So that means if you have one college degree, you really don't know shit. That means if you know a lot about Black history, it's a fuck ton of shit you don't know about. You turn your nose up at somebody who can teach you how to manipulate the stock market. You turn your nose up at somebody who can teach you how to grow food. You turn your nose up at somebody who can teach you how to classify your business a certain way to get around certain taxes. Nigga, we don't know it all. So confronting the anti-Black racism in our minds also includes being gracious and forgiving to those Black people who are reaching out, who want and need to know more. Stop that ego shit. That ego shit fucks up a lot of things, man. The ego shit fucks up a lot of shit, man. That's real talk, Sean G. Yeah, you gotta learn patience when you coming into knowledge. No different than new Christians. Christians be old Christians be. My mom, I've been sitting on this pew for 40 years. My mom sat here, and my grandmother brought us to this church in 1947. So, how's that going to help the person coming in and seek knowledge? When people come to you to seek knowledge, answer them humbly. Chuck asked a good question. Was it easier to accept new info or deprogram from what you previously learned? They happened at the same time. You just have to have the mindset, an open mindset to accept. And deprogramming has to be something that you consciously do. Like you can unconsciously accept information, but you cannot unconsciously deprogram. Deprogramming is an effort. And through pushing forward with that effort to deprogram, I do think it makes it easier for you to accept information because you understand that through your deprogramming, the information that you have is false, so you're seeking naturally to replace that information. Yeah, get them likes up. But confronting anti-black racism, I'm so proud of black people. I am so proud of us. Because we used to allow these LGBTQs, these non-white racist groups, these white racist groups, say whatever the hell they want, and we just kind of ignore them. Even in the early days of the internet. See, back in the 90s and the 80s, we didn't have a platform to respond. But even when the internet became a big thing, these LGBTQs, these other groups can say whatever they wanted about black people, and it just ride. Black folks are standing up. Black people are standing up. What's up, Royalty Supreme? We getting on code. You damn right, Jordan. Feminists are a problem. And what I like is we starting to stand up to all these motherfuckers. Starting with what Tariq called pull up summer. And them black folks that went to that white man's house that harassed that black boy. He had to bounce and leave. Black people are pulling up to houses. They pulled up to that redneck cop's house that killed that black man. Where you at, bitch? Oh, Shanji, I'm gonna get to Umar. Umar did. Umar be fucking up a lot, but that Breakfast Club interview was fire, top to bottom. I don't follow people. I follow the code. I follow information that I can use and that helps me. Damn a personality. I don't give a shit about a personality if you got that information. But I'll get into Umar a little later on. Remind me. Because when he picked up that phone, then when he fake answered that phone, that shit was hilarious. Like, Umar, nigga, you serious? But that Breakfast Club interview was great. Confronting anti-black racism. What's up, Jayla, in the chat room? Because I don't know if y'all saw this tweet. Well, I'm already here. Since y'all already talking about Umar, let's just talk about it now. I don't even want to, because I'll probably forget to come back. You're right, Royalty. Angela Yee is never there when Umar is there. She's never there. She's not even there when Dr. Claude Anderson was there the first time. Umar went top to bottom talking about what goes on in the school system. And I told you guys, I've been very open before that Umar is my inspiration to as far as opening up my company, Breakthrough Advocacy Services. My web guy is actually working on a website as we speak for it to go live. So hopefully it'll be live today. BreakthroughAS.org. Because I was going to these IEP meetings as a behavioral specialist, and I didn't know what the fuck what was going on. I just saw all these black kids in special education. Didn't know what the fuck was going on. Then I saw Hidden Colors, and I saw our brother Kaba Kamene and Umar Johnson and Dr. Welsing break down the special education system. And that right there is what got me on focus and on code. Because once Umar broke down how they take our black boys and put them in these special education programs, I was already working at a job that was in the middle of all that. I was then able to immediately get on code and create solutions. See, that's why I always talk about following information, not people. Damn a person. I don't care if Umar fell all the way off. I will still always give him credit for that because he gave me some pertinent, useful information that applied to a career that I had chosen, and it gave me something I can do about it. See, a lot of people listen to this information for info porn. A lot of people just want to sit back and listen to people talk a good game, rah, 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 power to the people, and then go back to their daily lives and, meander through life. I don't listen to this information for info porn. I listen to Tariq, Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, Dr. Claude Anderson, Nitty Fuller, sometimes Boyce Watkins when he ain't going too crazy. I listen to these people to find out what to do. How can I use my particular set of skills to confront anti-black racism in my way? My whole purpose for reading all these history books and understanding black information is to see how I can confront it and deal with it. How can I jump in, pick up the ball, and do my part? You'll never hear me talk about, well, what you doing to help the black community? Look, the only niggas running around saying what you doing to help the black community are niggas who ain't doing shit. You only dealing with racism because it smacked you in the face. You're mad at one of Trump's tweets, or the newest black person got killed yesterday. Now that it's all in your face, you want to be pro-black. But then when it's not in your face, you want to come to people like me and come to people who do this work saying, what you doing to help the black community? I'll tell you how you not helping the black community. You ain't helping the black community by asking me that. I've never seen anyone that's actually doing the work even have time to ask, what are you doing to help the black community? You ain't got time for that shit if you out here doing the work. The whole purpose of my show is I'm doing my best to give out information based on my ability to research and my life experience. And hopefully you can take something I say and apply it to you. Because I don't just talk about racism to sit and cry and say, look at what white people are doing. Y'all know, anyone who listens to this show know that we always talk solutions. We always talk about what we can do to take the messages said in this show back to our daily lives to confront anti-black racism. I'm all about doing the work. The same way I was when I used to be in church all the time. When I was in church, I did not lead one person to the Lord. They used to always be like, you got to reach the lost for Christ? I'm like, shit, even when I was in church, I'd be like, hell, if God wants them to be Christians, ain't he God? Can't he do that? When I was in the church heavy, I was too busy living those tenets, which I still do live the tenets of Christianity that work for me. Sharing, being considerate, loving those who love me. And also doing like Jesus, coming in, flipping over tables for people who want to fuck up my house. Jesus did that part too. Shit. A lot of the church forgot to do a sermon on Jesus raising hell, but I didn't forget. So I still live the parts of Christianity that worked for me. And I left all the rest behind. I ain't got time to argue over this and that. Some of the parts that work for me may not work for you. That's why Neely Fuller has the United Independent Compensatory Concept Guide. When people say things, you got to find out how it works for you. It ain't a goddamn thing to argue about. You're right, Tugger. Solutions take effort. You got to be about the solutions, or this is a waste of time. It's just information porn. So black people are starting to really confront these people who don't fuck with us. You know, Umar said some dope shit when he's talking about Joe Biden, the anti-Asian legislation, the transgender legislation. And no, you know what I like about us black folks? We really don't. We genuinely aren't tripping on other people getting stuff. That's not where we tripping. See, they trip when we get shit. We really don't trip when they get shit. The only thing we saying is now, okay, since you're giving it to them, God damn it, it's time for us too. Keep your transgender legislation on the books. Keep your anti-Asian legislation on the books, fine. But what about black folks though? And that's a question that we hadn't been asking. We hadn't been asking that question. We've been allowing Al Sharpton and these jive dumb motherfuckers to keep us content with people of color, minority, disadvantaged communities, immigration. We've been okay with that. Now we ain't. Yeah, he banged on Obama and Michelle too. Barack and Michelle. They ain't did shit, but they want to come around and sell a book and tell us what we need to do and how we need to respond to oppression that they did nothing to confront. Yeah, Coco. Umar was on cold big time this time. I'll take, if Umar could talk like that on that big of a platform, I'll take some of the other shit that he does. I once donated to the school. No, I did not like how his interview with Lord Jamar went. When Lord Jamar started asking him real questions, he didn't really know how to respond. Same thing on Hip Hop Uncensored. There are things about Umar that I ain't really feeling at all. At all. But that don't stop the information. I'm still about to buy that man's book. Because when that man's talking about the school system, I'm telling you right now, as someone who's confronted the school system for years, he knows what the fuck he's talking about. Umar's so valuable. He's extremely valuable. He's extremely valuable. Yes, I'm buying the man's book. I didn't know he had a book coming out. But I'm buying that motherfucker. And you should too. I'm telling y'all right now. For anybody that takes me on as far as my IEP work and what I do, working with children, I'm going to recommend that book. I'm not going to rewrite it. Why? I'm not an ego person. If somebody wrote the book on it, I'm going to point you where to go. When you go to college, your professors don't write every book they tell you to read. They may have written one, but they're going to also point you to other books so you can get the full scope of the information. I'm going to tell my IEP clients to buy Umar's book, regardless about how I feel about how some of his interviews went and some of the things that he says, because I'm mature like that. And a lot of people here in the chat room are too. Should he have opened his school by now? Probably, yeah. But you know what that tells me? It shows me Umar's probably not a good business person. He's probably not wise with how he spent his money. He's definitely not transparent about that. Yeah, but guess what? I'm not sending any kids to his school. So, I ain't got, hey, look. And if people decide to send kids to his school. They've seen him for better and for worse. And they've made that decision. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. But if you let that get in the way, and especially if you have a child in the school system and you don't buy his book, then you're only cheating yourself and you're only cheating your child. Let me say that one more time. If you have a black child in the school system, especially one that's dealing with special education, if you allow your personality conflict with Umar to stop you from buying Umar's book, you're only hurting yourself and your child's education. Yes, I said it. And you're speaking to someone who knows this IEP system at the back of my hand. So yeah, I'm going to vouch for what Umar has to say about the special education system. I charge $175 an hour to talk about the special education system. But I'll be the first one to tell you, buy his book. I'm expensive. I don't try to take people's money, but my time is valuable. So if you want my time, you're going to have to pay for it. You're right about that, Royalty. He probably doesn't have a good team around him. And just based on my observations of Umar, he probably has an ego that won't allow a good team to be around him. But hey, those are his shortcomings. Those are his shortcomings. We all have shortcomings. His are just very public. But he know about that school system, no. Which leads me to this right here. Did y'all see this tweet? LGBTQ Nation quoted, they're talking about Tariq. World's #1 race baiter at Tariq Nasheed implied the mentally ill hotel worker was racist when it was the customer hurling slurs. Now the man is suicidal. Hashtag LGBTQ. Let's talk about this. In 3 lines, look at how many lies and deceitful words that these motherfuckers threw out. They said he implied mentally ill. First of all, implied means he didn't say it. Because if he said the worker was racist, they would have been able to quote the exact words. Like in quote, it says world's #1 race baiter. They took that quote from his Twitter profile. So if the man said it, shouldn't you be? If he said something racist, where are the quotes? So they said implied, which means he didn't say that. Then they said mentally ill hotel worker. No proof the man is mentally ill. But there is proof he was drinking. He did admit to drinking that day. That came out on Reddit. And they said when it was a customer hurling slurs. What slur did the customer hurl? If the customer says something racist in the video, there's a video that we can go back and watch, and we can quote what he said. They say now the man is suicidal. This is how the LGBTQ community treats black people. A black man was being insulted as a customer, stood up for himself, but instead of the LGBTQ publication being on the side of right, they chose the side of white. Which, for if there's any gay people in here listening and you're black, they're showing you where they align themselves. But this is what I like. Read the comments. I like how black folks responded to this tweet. Damn liar, what slurs? Oh, somebody hit the thumbs down. That must have been a fruit booty. Yeah, I said fruit booty. Yeah, I still got jokes against gay people. Just because you gay don't mean you can't get the jokes. I mean, we hate you. Shit, just mean that's equality, giving gay people jokes. Everybody get jokes. Look, I'm fat. I got my own chat room clowning the shit out of my fat ass. Take a dick, you could take a joke. Don't trip. But I see the way black folks are responding. They brought up Ed Buck real fast in the comment section. Look at this. If the customer slurs, please provide evidence. Don't worry, I'll wait. Let's see here. Look at this. Jeffrey Dahmer was also LGBTQ. Look at this. Just read the tweets. Go to the tweet. And just look at how black people are responding. See, black folks, we weren't doing this shit. You didn't see a legion of black people responding to these people when they would mischaracterize us in the past. You didn't see us doing that. We would talk a little bit of shit, but then, go off. And we may say something on our own Twitter timeline. When we're amongst each other, we'll talk some shit. But back in the day, black folks didn't go directly at the people pushing the bullshit the way we are right now. You're right. Why is his sexuality even an issue? You couldn't tell that dude was gay. All I saw was somebody smashing his head against a monitor. Last time I checked, that shit wasn't exclusive to gay people. All kind of white boys that do dumb shit like that. They get mad. They want to hit something, hurt themselves in some sort of way. I didn't know that was just gay people. They want to turn it into a sexuality issue. We ain't going for it. Black people are standing up. My biggest thing I want to say is keep it going. Y'all see him? I got mine up in there. Little white girls want to say some shit. Okay, I got something for you too. I'm just now really starting to get back on Twitter. I don't really fuck with Twitter like that. I'll read Twitter, but I don't really be on it. But I had a few tweets recently that went around that made some good rounds. So it's been making me sort of go back to Twitter a little bit. But yeah, it's a new day. And this wasn't even part of the program, but I do want to talk about this. I'm loving how black people and people around the world are responding to Michael Jackson. It's another hashtag that's going on. Michael Jackson was framed. Do y'all know it came out the other day in an article that another court vindicated Michael Jackson? Yes. That Safe Chuck dude, his little bullshit ass, that little Leaving Neverland documentary, the last time it had just come out just last week. The court Threw it out. No evidence. So Michael Jackson, yet again, vindicated. Makes me want to ask, where's that funky dog face bitch Gail and Oprah? Where they at? They did all that running their mouth about some allegations that the courts time and time again said he didn't do. Now another court just said Michael Jackson didn't do it. Big shit talk over his accusations. Big shit talk over what they accused. But when it came down to it, the judge said, nah. Nah. Didn't happen. Michael Jackson's innocent. And for those of you who watched, first off, you watched Leaving Neverland, I'm side-eyeing you, giving you the side eye. But if you believed it, I'd encourage you to get the fuck away from here. If you believe the motherfucking documentary done by people who've always hated the man, and you still believe Michael Jackson's guilty, your opinions on anything is invalid. You can't be that impressionable when these folks is doing stuff to us. You can't be that easily fooled. I understand certain people may have watched it just to see what they were saying. Okay. But if you're one of those people who actually believed it, we got to be smarter than that, people. Again, that's confronting anti-black racism. And I've been loving how black folks have been standing up for Michael Jackson. Not too many black people believe that shit. I know a couple people who did, but for the most part, we didn't believe it. But now we starting to be more vocal about it. That's confronting anti-black racism. Oh, hey, and I want y'all to look. I got my new t-shirts, Reparations Now, on my website. I got them in 2 different styles and a snapback. Reparations Now with the money bags. Or Reparations Now with the black fist. With money in hand. Get yours now, hotepish.com/apparel. Get your shit now. Also, my live drum sample packs are for sale. My link tree in the description box. And I have my class coming up, No Time to Waste, on my new book. Hey, my new book is dope. It's dope, it's dope, it's dope. You want to know how to find your inner gifts? You want to know how to cultivate what's inside? Sign up for this webinar this coming Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You get a free copy of my book, No Time to Waste. And then the book will be on sale for the general population next Monday. But you get it first if you enroll in my class. So y'all got to get these t-shirts. You dig? Confronting anti-black racism. I don't know if y'all saw this. I was on Clubhouse yesterday. I don't even get on Clubhouse that much because I really don't like talking to people I don't know. Sounds weird as much as I be talking to y'all, huh? I really don't like talking to people I don't know. It's a little different from back here. Like, it's different as a stand-up. It's easy for me to talk to hundreds of people or get on stage as a comedian and talk to 2,000 people and make them laugh. That's easy. Or doing a keynote speech at a business with my communication workshops. Doing that's easy. But just in a room with 3 or 4 people talking and I don't know them, man, that shit weird as fuck to me. New people, I'm like, man, whenever I meet somebody new, I be wanting them to shut the fuck up so I can keep going, man. I don't like talking to people. Sounds weird, but I really don't. That shit weirds me out. I be going places. I was at the Weed Lounge last week, and somebody was like, "Hey, what's up, Dwan? Yeah, man, that show, man." He started talking to me about something I said on Craig Facts. I just was like, I was being nice and everything because I don't want to be rude, but I was thinking, man, get the fuck away from me. Like, say hi and keep pushing. I don't want to talk to you. I want to get in my car and get home and smoke this weed, and then get on YouTube. But that shit be weird to me talking to people one-on-one, man. That shit's fucking weird. I'm better at it than I used to be. But I do not like talking to people I don't know. That shit weirds me out. But confronting anti-black racism. Y'all saw, I was on Clubhouse and Tariq was in a room talking with these admitted bed wenches. They called themselves that because they were like, you talk bad about black women that like to date white men and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And these women tried to they kicked off any black woman who had her own mind. They kicked her off the panel. They kicked all the black dudes off the panel and basically left Tariq up there for like 10 other people, 10 other bed wenches that were all, you could tell they all dated white dudes and did not fuck with black men. But he still handled them. And then I saw there was other Clubhouse rooms created that got even more cracking with people supporting the brother. And that's the part that I liked. I liked listening to Jade Arendelle speak on how she supports Tariq and black men who speak and other women. Because there was, for a long time, black women were not speaking up. Black women with their head on straight. Seriously, about black women with your head on straight. Y'all see the ridiculousness coming from the LGBTQ community. Y'all will see the ridiculousness coming from the hood rat community. And y'all just be like, man, these bitches is crazy, and keep on pushing. I'm noticing black women with their heads on straight starting to speak up more. And that is very, 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 very key in confronting anti-black racism. Tamir Rice's mom came out and spoke on Black Lives Matter and how they basically hustlers. Because again, remember, confronting anti-black racism includes confronting anti-black black people. Black women are starting to really step up and speak out. And we need that. We need that. And it seems as if every month that passes, I'm seeing more and more black women be vocal about anti-black racism and what's going on. Mickey said, you had about 4 minutes. Mickey, I sat in that room for about 15. I'm surprised I got that long. It was a bunch of bullshit. I sat in that room for about 15 minutes. It's so good to see so many black women speak up and talk and say these bed wenches and these hood rats don't speak for black women, because that's what's needed. There's a sore spot right now between men and women, black men and black women. So when black men speak on certain topics, not all, but too many black women can't hear what that black man is saying. Not all, but too many cannot hear what he's saying. So for the time being, it's going to take women to be vocal. It's going to take black women to speak up against these bed wenches. It's going to take black women to speak up against these extra out hood rats. They all like hood rat society does not reflect black society. Black women are not hood rats. Black women are not hood rats. Black women are intelligent. Black women are pleasant. Black women smell good. Black women are loving. Black women support their black men. Yes, we understand black women have a lot of issues that need to be dealt with. We do. But you can go to any other podcast and they'll be talking about that. Here, I'm here to compliment those who are doing it right. And you know me, I also hold my own podcast. I've done shows in the past confronting hood rat behavior and the ills within black society. Confronting the ills within black society has a time and place. But sometimes we gotta take time to appreciate what's going right. Because when you take time to appreciate and acknowledge what's right, you grow and get more of what's right. If you stay stuck on whatever you focus on, you build. Period. So it's good to give attention to what's wrong. Great to always give attention to what's wrong. But within what's wrong, present a couple solutions. And when you see people actually doing what's right, take time to acknowledge what's right. And what's right now is black people are standing up for ourselves. Black men are standing up, and black women are finally joining us. Especially when it comes to confronting the LGBTQ community and the feminist community. Because we know that feminist community has been hell on black society. And their number one ally has been black women. Unfortunately, since the 1960s, too many black women aligned themselves with that feminist agenda that's hurt black society. Now the tide is starting to shift. It's starting to go the other way. The black women with their heads on straight are starting to go in on this feminist agenda. Somebody's talking about Candace Owens. Candace Owens saying, man, Candace Owens is a hustler. She says good things, she says bad things. But Candace Owens isn't about solutions. She's there she's an echo chamber for white men. She says what white men want to hear for that dollar. She did beat Cardi B in that when they were going back and forth. When I saw Candace Owens and Cardi B going back and forth, that was like a midget fight. It was hilarious. It was like, that shit was like midget wrestling. Which one of these little motherfuckers is gonna win? Very entertaining. And I think Candace Owens beat Cardi B in the midget wrestling contest. But we must always remember, this wasn't a sanctioned boxing match with experts. There was no substance. It was an amateur midget wrestling contest. Very entertaining. Move on. It was like watching a Police Academy movie. Tackleberry. Very entertaining. But it's at the end of the day, it's midget wrestling. A midget mind for the Democrats versus a midget mind for the Republicans, who sometimes use real issues to bring attention to themselves with their midget-minded breakdowns of what's going on. The fact that white men love Candace Owens lets you know it's just midget wrestling. It's not real. The last thing white men want to hear from a black person is substance. Let me say that one more time. The last thing white men want to hear from a black person, especially a black woman, the last thing they want to hear from a black woman is substance. Now they'll use wedge issues all day. Candace Owens talks about how single mothers hurt the black society, and having single parent raised households does hurt black society. But Candace Owens ain't approaching that from a point of view of giving the whole story with solutions and how we can affect that. She's only saying that so white men can say, yeah, fucking right. Here's $200. Don't fall for that shit. It's midget wrestling. Yes, Cardi B will win a fight against Candace Owens in real life. And you know how? She'll drop some more of that, some more of them pills in Candace Owens' drink to knock her out, put her to sleep. Same thing she did in those men she robbed when she was a stripper. Put a roofie in their drink, make them go to sleep. Cardi B do that shit in Candace Owens' drink before the fight. Candace Owens gonna come in to the midget wrestling ring, drowsy, not feeling good, not understanding why. Then Cardi B gonna be like, no, I whooped your ass. That was a terrible impersonation of Cardi B. But you get the point. It's midget wrestling. Let Candace Owens call out the same ills within white society. And let's see what happens then. If Candace Owens is real, let her start talking about the meth epidemic in white society, the single parent epidemic within white society, the terrorism within white society. If she's real and she continues to get national attention for saying that, then we'll know she's real. You're right, Dr. Sanders. There's nothing attractive about Cardi B. She's all made up. When Cardi B is in her natural state, she looks like the kind of chick that you take to Taco Bell when she's not all made up. You wouldn't even take Cardi B to Cheesecake Factory. Cardi B's the nah, bitch. We going to Chili's. And you better order off the 2 for $20 menu at Chili's. That's Cardi B without the makeup. No, we're not going to Fleming's. No Fleming's for you, Cardi B. But we can hit up Norm's or Denny's. Cardi B is at 4 a.m. Waffle House action in her natural state. You take Cardi B to the Waffle House. And not the ones where you know your friends may show up at. Now we going to the one on the other side of town. I wouldn't take Cardi B to Black Bear Diner. Those in California know what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm picking Cardi B up? All right, bitch, we going to In-N-Out. Now, In-N-Out too bright. The lights are too bright. We'll go through the drive-thru. See, Cardi B's a chick that you take to the drive-thru or In-N-Out. Pull up to the park, get some head, and drop her ass off at home. Ain't nothing impressive about Cardi B. Don't write her own music. Don't make no damn sense. That's another level of confronting anti-black racism. Hell yeah, Black Bear Diner go hard. What's up, T-Boss? Confronting anti-black racism is also confronting people like Cardi B, who claim to speak up for us. Star, you tripping. Star said Black Bear is nasty. Star, you tripping. Star ain't never made a bad comment till that one right there. That was the first bad comment Star ever made. Black Bear is not. Man, Black Bear is the shit. And hell, I love that motherfucking place. I discovered them when I was up in Mount Shasta a couple years ago. On one of my nature retreats. Y'all know me. I got to go get out to nature at least 3 or 4 times a year. So I'll be going up to Mount Shasta, McLeod Falls sometimes just to dry out in nature. And the original Black Bear Diner is right up there in Mount Shasta. And that's where I discovered it. I can't wait to go back to Mount Shasta, Lake Tahoe, or something like that. But confronting anti-black racism is confronting people like Cardi B, who claim to speak for us. I don't want nobody who has to drug people as a stripper and steal from them. She drugged people and stole from them. And Joe Biden speaks with her? Confronting anti-black racism is dealing with that. And I'm so glad black people, for the most part, stood up and stood out on speaking up against Cardi B, because she does not represent black women. Black women are intelligent. Black women don't need to rob men for money. Black women know how to get a good job. Black women know how to open up businesses. At least the ones that I know. Cardi B is in no way, shape, or form representative of how black women talk and behave. Cardi B may very well be nice in person. That doesn't absolve them for how they represent us as a culture. Look, I know plenty of nice people. Y'all know me. I know a lot of famous people. But I don't speak on them based on my personal interactions with them. Because my personal interactions aren't the images that are projected out to the world. The images projected out into the world are how they represent themselves on camera. They're by what the agendas they support. That's my relationship to them. Cardi B spoke for black people to the president and brought up immigration. The fuck that got to do with black people, man? That's what the Democrats do. That's what these elected officials do. They'll get someone black in face that's really not politically oriented and give them a set of questions that do nothing to solve the issues of black people. You're right, Jordan, and they still have not met with Ice Cube. You're right, Star. She's a caricaturer. So confronting anti-black racism also has to deal with the caricaturers within our society. Y'all saw the shit that I went at D.L. Hughley for. D.L. Hughley wants to support every little thing the Democrats tell him to support. And they had him on the whole Stop Asian Hate thing. And when I confronted him about that, he had a major issue and tried to go jokes. But like y'all saw, D.L. Hughley hasn't had to be funny in 30 years. So I clowned the shit out of him. So he had me suspended from Twitter for a little bit, which I gladly served because I served his ass in that clowning contest. Confronting anti-black racism has a lot to do with confronting a lot of these black blue check Twitter, black blue check social media. They always pushing agendas on black people that don't help and support black people. I'm totally okay with apolitical people. If you're in here or you know someone who they're not into politics, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you being like, look, I just want to live my life. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to go to work, feed my family, live a quality life. Salute to you. I have no issues with people like that. But I do have an issue with people who call themselves political but don't understand politics, so they repeat dangerous themes that harm black society. Roland Martin, John Legend, Common. And I used to be the biggest Common fan. I still listen to that album B, Finding Forever, Like Water for Chocolate. Man, hell, I've been disliking Common's I've been noticing Common on that bullshit since he was on The Daily Show. When was that? 2012, 13? I still bought tickets to see him at the Hollywood Bowl a couple years ago with Queen Latifah, and that was a great show. Common and Queen Latifah at the Hollywood Bowl. Me and my wife had box seats for that. I can separate Common, the artist, from his bullshit ass agenda. Yes, Common is bugged out. I can still listen to some of his old music, but no, I gotta call out that BS you doing, Common. Because after all that vote, I've been on Blue Check Twitter's head because y'all guided us to voting for this man so hard last year. And in his first 100 days, he passed nothing for specifically for black people. He could have at least, the George Floyd Act isn't specifically for black people, it was just an act. But he could have at least made that an executive order. At least, dude. At least make the George Floyd Act executive order. And that's not exclusive to black people. He didn't do that. But he gave transgenders and Asians and Pacific Islanders and immigrants benefits and money specific to them that no one else can benefit from. So I've been asking Black Blue Check Twitter, DL Hewley, Common, Roland Martin, hey, what you now you want to talk about COVID, or I don't call it COVID. Now you want to talk about the Woompty Wamps. That's the code word, the Woompty Wamps. Now you want to talk about the Woompty Wamps? You want to talk about needles and vaxes for the Woompty Wamps? But what about all this legislation these other people are getting? You told me to vote for this man, sir. Why aren't you holding this man that you spent a whole year campaigning for accountable? Why aren't you holding his feet to the fire? You went at Ice Cube for this man. Ice Cube had a plan for us and you cut it every which way from Sunday. That's on us as a people. I tell you, I spend at least 3 days a week on some Blue Check's timeline reminding them that they asked us to vote for somebody who's not giving us something. Every time Joe Biden writes an executive order for other groups, I'm on Common's timeline. I'm on Roland Martin's timeline. I'm on DL Hewley's timeline. Hey, Joy Reid. What's the other one? Angela Rye. I'm on their timelines. Knock, knock, knock. Excuse me. You told me to vote for this person. So why is it they're getting something for them that we're not getting. Can you at least help me in going for the person you voted for? Going at them? Huh? That's what I like about what we're doing right now as black people. We're really starting to confront these people on all levels. We're not making the mistake previous generations made, waiting for a leader to do it. We're doing it. We're doing it as a people, as a unit. We on code, man. I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of us. Again, I am so proud of us. Because we know that a leader can't do anything. It takes all of us. Our leader can push things. Our leaders, or quote unquote leaders, or people with big followings can push things further than we can as individuals. But when we as individuals use our individual time to support positive agendas for black people, to question those people who go against our greater interests, when we spend our individual time doing that, that collectively adds up. And I'm telling you this, as long as we stay on this trip that we on, pulling up and confronting, reaching out, reparations ain't too far behind. I said it. We keep pushing. Reparations are not too far behind. Because like I teach on this program all the time, when black people fight, we win. The only thing that ever throughout history has ever stopped us from winning is when we decide to stop fighting, when we decide to stop defending what we've built, when we decide to acquiesce and give up what we've acquired. But when we fight, when we stand up for ourselves, we win. We win. And that's what we talking about here. That's what we here talking about. We've taken the protests from we shall overcome, marching down the street on some bullshit, to no, I'll just show up at your house. How about that? And you better believe that's what got the Derek Chauvin convicted. Fox News said it. Ooh, he only got convicted because of mob rule. Well, that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Black people only became victims of white supremacy because of mob rule. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? In 1898, Wilmington, Delaware, when the citizens voted on black leaderships for the city of Wilmington, there were mobs of white people who came and killed off the leadership. It was white people a couple days after the election of 1898, Wilmington, North Carolina. I said Delaware. Wilmington, North Carolina. It was a mob that chose not to recognize that government burned down the courthouse and killed black people. That was mob rule. Y'all ain't saying nothing about that. Black Wall Street, burning that down was mob rule. Y'all ain't say nothing about that. Bruce's Beach, here and now Manhattan Beach, California, those black people who owned that land at Bruce's Beach on Highland Avenue, about 3/4 of a mile down from Uncle Bill's Pancake House. If you from LA, you know Uncle Bill's. That's just good than a motherfucker. About 3/4 of a mile down Highland, down the street from Uncle Bill's Pancake House, Bruce's Beach. That was mob rule. Building the 110 freeway down the Broadway Business District in South Central Los Angeles, that was mob rule. The Boston Tea Party, that was mob rule. The Revolutionary War. Remember, only 3% of Americans fought in the Revolutionary War against Britain. That was mob rule. Small mob, 3% of the population of the colonies fought for its independence from Great Britain. That's mob rule. The only thing white supremacy has ever respected is mob rule. So they know that when it comes to these cases like Derek Chauvin, black folks are now speaking their language. And now that we speak in their language, confronting anti-black racism, they're starting to back down. This has been a horrible white supremacist holy month. You know, Hitler's birthday, Oklahoma City bombing, Columbine. White folks like to act up in April. But this April 2021, they've been getting their asses whooped. And it's been continuous ass whoopings. Y'all remember last summer when them white boys was trying to come out? When that one dude got beat into a pretzel in Atlanta, he had 2 swords. And he came swinging his swords and them niggas beat his ass into a honey bun. The other white dude that came out with a bow and arrow, they beat his ass. It's been between 2020 and 2021, it's been ass whooping fest, but this time from us to them. And it's just growing and growing and getting better and getting better. Yeah, 420 is Hitler's birthday, but it's also Luther Vandross's birthday. And hell yeah, I was smoking up. I was smoking up to 1,000. Never too much, never too much, never too much. Doom, 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 doom. Happy birthday, Luther Vandross on 420. We know you was singing to grown ass man, but hey, the music's still jamming. And no matter who you was singing it to, I reinterpret it to as if you were singing to a woman. Larry out sing and you ain't gonna do nothing about it. Larry, y'all see Larry's picture in the profile with that beard. He got that beard because I be checking his chin, knocking that nigga out. He grew that beard thinking it's gonna be some kind of cushion. I still knock your ass out with that beard, Larry Goodwell. I didn't see the versus battle because we were on Craig Facts. And watch Craig Facts today. We'll be on Craig Facts today, 4 o'clock. Grown ass men talking some real shit. Hell yeah, I was listening to Luther. Sometimes niggas listening to too much hip hop. Hip hop is cool, but you gotta balance. You gotta balance the hip hop with the melodic. Get your mind in a relaxed, comfortable, chill space. 420, I was listening to Luther, nigga. I was listening to Oscar Peterson, listening to Funkadelic. I was listening to the Jones Girls, the Emotions, SWV, Snoop, Kendrick, Anderson .Paak. I listened to all that. Hell, last night I was listening to the Motley Crue. I was getting high as hell listening to Motley Crue last night. Girls, girls, girls. Girls, girls, girls. Shout, shout, shout at the devil. Man, I love that motherfucker Vince Neil's voice. Vince Neil sound like he ready to kick your ass when he's singing. Nigga Larry said, I was listening to Sylvester. Fuck you. Larry, you was listening to Renee. No, not Renee and Angela, just Renee. You don't have to cry. What I know about loose ends. Check out my playlist on Spotify, my Funk Soul playlist, and you'll find out what I know about loose ends. I got some dope ass music, and I add music every day to my daily, at least 3 or 4 times a week. I'm adding music to my Funk Soul playlist on Spotify. My Jazz Soul list is coming up really soon. I'm just waiting on some of the artwork to get done with that. But my Jazz Soul list is coming real soon too. And I'm introducing y'all to a lot of stuff on that jazz side of the game. But if you want to know more about some funk music and some soul music, I have a whole bunch of B-sides on my Funk Soul playlist. I got stuff that was hits too, but I got a lot of stuff that wasn't major hits at the time. But it's that funk, it's that soul, it's the essence of our music. I got some Enchantment on my list. Gloria, my Gloria. No, I can't sing, but I'm feeling it. Things ain't been the same since you went away. I got some Tina Marie on there. Jiglet. Tina Marie and Ozone. Got all that good shit on my Funk Soul playlist. Now I don't have any disco on. I know I do have some disco. I got some Chic on there. If I got disco on there, disco got to be funky. It got to be like I get that funky disco like Chic. You know what I mean? I got some BGs. I'm gonna put some BGs on there. Disco's cool. I'm not against disco's good. I'm not the biggest fan of disco, but it depends on what it is. Like disco is just fast but I do like disco, but I'll listen to disco a little bit, but I'm not going to sit and listen to disco all day. Funk and soul, I can listen to all day, every day. Disco, I got to be in the mood for that shit. Oh yeah, you from Ohio? Yeah. If you from Ohio, you know about that funk. Zapp and Roger, Bootsy Collins. Nigga, the funk sound. Really, West Coast funk? If you think about it, West Coast funk is the Ohio funk sound in a lot of ways. I'm not like West Coast hip hop, not West Coast funk. Because West Coast funk is Rolls Royce, Lakeside, War. No, that's different. But West Coast hip hop, a lot of West Coast hip hop has Ohio style funk. Open your ears and listen to it and listen for yourself. But I want to thank y'all again for joining me here. Hotepish Intelligent Ish Talk. Remember, my webinar is coming up, No Time to Waste, a self-motivation guidebook. This Sunday. My book will be for sale the next day, on next Monday, but my webinar will be to you guys, and whenever my book is finished editing, everyone who's in the webinar, I'll send it to you. And we're going to get around and we're going to talk about it on Sunday. Because the whole point of this webinar is to help you find the gifts that you already have within, how to bring them out and monetize them. This isn't some external thing that I conceptualize. No, this is what I live. This is what I live. This is what I've taught to people for over 10 years. I'm just finally now putting it in a book. And instead of teaching it to individual clients, one client at a time, I'm now teaching it on a mass level. A great discount too, because I said before, for my time when it comes to my company, that time is about $175 an hour. So for this, you're going to get 3 hours of me for $30. Come on now. You get 3 hours of what I spend $175 an hour to teach. And I get that $175 an hour, no problem. But I understand everybody cannot afford that. So I'm making these things much more digestible for people to partake in. Locked in your spot. Yeah, thank you for that. We're going to get into some real teaching in the webinar. And also remember, get my t-shirts. Y'all know the John Henry Clark t-shirt. Black people don't owe anybody anything but an ass whooping. My Scholars t-shirt, my Martin Luther King t-shirt, Hotepish. My live drum sample packs are now on InTheMixStudios.com. The link is in my bio. For all you musicians out there who want that live funk sound on the drums, go get my sample packs and put it in your music. It's going to be dope as hell. Reparations now. All this shit is at hotepish.com/apparel. Get it right now. Get it right now. Get it right now. Get your merchandise. And enroll in the course. And somebody said, Funkin' for Jamaica. What you know about Thighs High from Tom Brown? I like Funkin' for Jamaica, but my favorite song from Tom Brown is Thighs High to the Sky. Make you laugh, make you cry. That's my shit. Tom Brown. Which is also on my playlist. So go to Spotify and download the playlist. And listen to my interviews on Spotify. My interview with Bobby Rush. My interview with J-Mo. I have more celebrity and great genius musicians lined up to interview. After my webinar, I've just been getting ready for this webinar. It's been taking me so much work to finish this book and this webinar. Incense and Ashtrays, I haven't done too many interviews with some of our legends, but I do have some legendary musicians, singers, artists, engineers lined up to tell the story behind the story with music. You're going to get a lot more of those episodes in May after my webinar. My next broadcast, I don't know. I'll be random with this shit. I might be back on tomorrow morning. or I might do a Q&A. Y'all said y'all liked my Q&As, so I will be doing a random live Q&A. So turn your notification bell on. Turn your notification bell on. Turn the notifications on, because I will be doing some live Q&As. And remember this: there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up the game. Confronting anti-black racism starts in your own mind. Confronting the anti-black racists within your own mind. And once you got that internal anti-black racist tamed and checked and controlled, when you see people on the outside lodging threats and going at black society or other black people speaking against the greater good of black society, it is on us to confront it. We've been doing it. Let's keep doing it. My name is Dwan B. We out.